if somebody would have grabbed my arm and pulled me into the stands, there would have at least been like a push or something. Like, man, come on, give me my arm back.
Yeah, I want to see someone do that to Tommy Pham and see what happens.
Corbin Carroll of the Diamondbacks joining us right now on FT. Corbin, I know you'd rather be playing right now, but you definitely had a nice run last year, and happy offseason to you. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate the time. So what have you been up to so far this offseason, and how locked in have you been to October baseball? Because obviously last year you didn't have to watch any games. You were participating in them until the finish line.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking with some of the guys, and a couple of the guys are kind of on the train of like, hey, these games hurt a little bit to watch, and not tuning in, but I've been watching a lot of them. There've been some really good games so far, so I've enjoyed that. Other than that, just kind of getting back to it, getting back into that off-season lifting, conditioning, all that, and then taking a couple trips over to Berkeley and saw my sister's playing some soccer there, so it's been fun to watch that.
That's awesome. All right, so give me your thoughts then on what you've seen in all of October. Has anything stood out to you? Of course, the Dodgers on your side of the National League making it to the World Series, division rival. So what do you think of what you've seen? Did you see this as a World Series team too when you were playing them throughout the year?
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, I thought San Diego was going to be the one to advance out of that series. I felt like that was probably going to be the team that going into it, if I had to take a shot at it, that was my team that I thought was going to do it. But LA's, everyone knows who they are. They've got, such a great lineup. Just really those top four hitters especially, seeing them one after another, I mean, that's tough. And then the length they have in that lineup, there's not really a break. And then, yeah, what they're doing between the starters that they have and that bullpen that they have, that's a really good baseball team over there.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you this. I had another question, but talking about their bullpen, I mean, I know you've seen them a lot more. They're so consistent, and they're when they get through when a starter gets through 5 or 6 innings, it's pretty much a done deal. What are you looking for? Like when you're facing these guys in the bullpen, what is the biggest thing you try and build off of when you're facing guys that are, Hudson and Banda? I mean, you're probably facing all the left-handers and those guys. Is there something specific you're trying to look for with these guys? You're going up there like, hey man, I got to find a pitch in my zone, and if I miss it, I'm in trouble.
For sure, I've seen Banda and Vesia way too much. So, but no, I mean, I think the thing that stands out for me is, as a left-hander, they don't have, a ton of change-ups in that pen. They're heavy four seams, big, sweepy, hard sliders. They'll get you off the four with a cutter or two in there. So, seems like that's kind of their approach and what they go to. But obviously, on the changeup side, Honeywell's got that screwball or whatever, so he's the outlier there.
Corbin, is that your trophy case behind you, by the way?
Yeah, what do we think? I just got it set up yesterday.
I'm trying to look for the Rookie of the Year award. Where's the Rookie of the Year award? Is it like behind your head? Because I've never actually seen one of those in person, so I got to get a better look at that thing.
We got some trophies. Let's give this a move. We got some trophies, some cleats.
Oh,
Todd likes those.
Oh man,
got some old magazines. I don't know if you can see that. We got some Griffey, growing up. We got a drawing that a fan did, and this custom card from my World Series pants that one of the clubbies did for me, which was really cool.
That's sweet. All right, good. All right, now you can sit back down. Now we can get into something else because I love when you see people's trophy case and what they keep. And I have the studio we're in, I have a bar with all my shoes that Nike made for me over the years. So I admire people that keep their shoes and show them off. I'm a big shoe guy. But my question is when you're sitting there watching the Dodgers, right, and you're thinking, man, we played really well against the Dodgers this year as the Diamondbacks. And then you had to sit there the last day, not even the last day, you're on Monday, and hope and pray that one of those two teams lost 2 games. How hard was that? Were you guys sitting in the clubhouse in Chase Field going, come on, all right, the Mets make that huge comeback. You're like, come on, Mets, figure it out so we can go play somebody? I mean, that had to be the worst, 8 hours of your life.
Yeah, realistically, we knew that the shot was pretty low, obviously, since that team that won the first game had nothing to play for in the second. So it felt like we were looking at all each team's bench players. We're like, someone here is going to have to be the hero in game 2. Just I think it was who threw that second game? Was it? It was supposed to be Sale, but then it ended up being someone else, right? So
Yeah, it wasn't Sale. It
but
was
looking for
Well, no, the Braves had to win.
right. The Braves had to win. I know, but Sale didn't even end up
Sorry.
No,
pitching at all.
but the Mets threw.
It was
I don't know. They
free,
called up
wasn't
somebody
it?
and threw him.
Who
No,
pitched
they
that?
threw Lucchese.
That's
The
right. Yeah, but you.
Right, that was the
ex-Padres guy.
Mets. Yeah.
it was pretty funny though, sitting there in the clubhouse, yelling at the umpire every time a call went against the Mets. That was definitely something I'll remember. But yeah, obviously, we wish that we weren't in that situation. I think looking back on it, 89 wins, which is what we had, was a lot of wins to not get in. But the way things shook out this year, there weren't any of those, 100+ win teams this year. And so it took a lot of wins to get in, and we need to do the job and get at least one more done.
Did you guys show up? And most fans probably don't know this. You didn't know where you were going, if you were going home, or did you guys show up to the park with suitcases? So all your suitcases were lined up and you guys are ready to get on the bird. Does that make it tougher?
Yeah, I think it went so far as to they were already loading, our bags and stuff on the plane. Definitely, it was tough, but again, I think that most people realized that it wasn't a huge chance that there wasn't going to be a huge chance that we were going to be getting on that plane, just since, again, that team would have nothing to play for after winning that first game. But yeah, just a weird situation, and hopefully one we can avoid in the future.
Corbin, you mentioned that you've already started working out for next year. And so I want to know, did you change anything? Because your rookie of the year, you had an unbelievable year, made a run to the World Series. Are you going to go full Ichiro? You said Ichiro was your favorite player growing up. Are you going to go full Ichiro this offseason and hit every day, throw every day, sprint every day, and then come back in and be like, man, I'm kind of tired from doing all this stuff? Or are you going to do your normal routine so you're ready to go when April 1st hits?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of reflecting back on the year as a whole, I had my 2 worst months as a big leaguer, and then the other months were kind of a little bit more in line with where I'd like to be. And so I think just trying not to let those 2 months define my year. There was a lot that I learned from it, and that's really what I want the takeaway to be is, those lessons learned. And I guess when you talk about this off season and planning now, on the running side, it's been minimal so far, kind of in more of a hypertrophy phase right now, but that's going to be a big focus this next year, as well as on the hitting side. I think I just found some people and some things that work for me, and so I think kind of just casting that net a little wider and having some more resources there, can never hurt, and plan to kind of just keep moving forward with those.
What did you change, though, after those 2 months? Because then you got back to Corbin Carroll that we're used to. So what did you change? Because when I watch you hit, I mean, it was a little bit off. You're a little bit more jumpy, maybe a little more forward, but you've always had a huge forward move. You're not like a Judge that just kind of sits on his backside, right? I mean, you've always had a bigger forward move, and that's how you generate your power. So what did you go back to? Is there one thing that you go back to and say, if I can do this, I'm going to be good?
Yeah, for sure. So it felt like going into the offseason, before this year, I wanted to make some changes. I'd had some swings in that second half that didn't feel so good physically, and trying to make some adjustments to not have that happen anymore. A lot of work with a two-hand finish, and then basically my feedback of like in the off season was, does this swing feel good? And I got to a point where that was true, and throughout the year had no problems. But it also kind of took me away from an efficient swing, and my swing. So just getting back to that, I think was really big for me. It took a little while. It was really hard. I'd never felt like lost in that way with my swing, and so just getting some people in place to help me with that and get back on the right track, because it's hard. It's hard to move in the right direction when you kind of lose those questions to ask. And I think just bringing some people in that helped me with that was really big.
When you talk about health with your swing, obviously I can tell you don't want to give away too much. Pitchers look at everything. They watch stuff. They try to figure out how to get the great Corbin Carroll out. Was it on that swing where you kind of got that stinger and it looked like you had hurt your shoulder? Did that linger more, or did that more linger in your head? Like, ooh, I gotta have a different type of finish.
There would be swings after that. That was really the first time that it happened. But there would be swings after that I would kind of just get these little stingers and get some inflammation in my shoulder. But that was kind of just what I was trying to avoid. But over the course of this year, didn't experience anything like that, and which was great. I mean, it's I think rule number one to being able to be out there and give it your all is to be in good shape to do it, and so I felt like I was in a lot better shape to do that this year.
Hey, Corbin, I'm going to take us back to this series for a moment. You're an outfielder. Someone's going to ask you this at some point, so I got to get your take, right? You've been out there your whole short career, but also in the minors, the whole deal. I'm assuming you've never come across what Mookie Betts came across, and how would you have handled it / how should the league handle it? Like, don't you feel as if a message needs to be sent to a fan that you can't grab someone's wrist like that?
Yeah, that was tough. I really don't even know what that was. Pretty fairly egregious. So yeah, I think just obviously that's unacceptable. I think that pretty much everyone's on the same page there. So I think the league will do what they need to do. But yeah, that just can't happen.
Would you have handled it as well as Mookie handled it? Because I keep thinking back, you never, until you're put in that situation, right? You honestly don't know, right? But I just think, like, if somebody would have grabbed my arm and pulled me into the stands, there would have at least been like a push or something. Like, man, come on, give me my arm back. I don't know. Until you're put in that situation, you don't know. But I just feel Mookie handled it amazingly.
It's self-defense at that point too. If you push.
Yeah, I want to see someone do that to Tommy Pham and see what happens. That's what I want to see. I think Mookie handled it about as well as you can. So, yeah, I mean, hats off to him.
Yeah. All right, so Corbin, let's get into the big Players Trust event that's going to be going down for the third annual Playmakers Classic in Arizona. I mean, we're having you on here, of course, to chat, but also to get the lowdown on the event, which you've been a part of. I know you do a lot behind the scenes with the group, and I think it's pretty safe to say we don't know everyone that will be there, of course, because we got plenty of free agents, trades happen. You're good, so we can trust you'll be there. You'll be a part of it out in Arizona on February 18th, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, out in Arizona, so hope to see a lot of D-backs fans out there. But for people who don't know, the Playmakers Classic's an event that the Players Trust puts on, which is the philanthropic arm of the Players Association, and so they do a lot of really cool things. Especially I'd say advancing opportunities for youth, both in education and playing opportunities. I've got to be a part of a couple things that they've done. What comes to mind would be out here in Arizona, they did a STEM league where they created like these board games and let these kids, it was travel ball teams, come out and play. And I think that one specifically was math. And then there were also some kids that came out from Hawaii from those fires out there, and they brought a baseball team out to watch a game at Chase and CBP on the field, and we got to meet and talk to them. So I'd say those are like a couple examples of what the Players Trust does, and so this Playmakers Classic is supporting endeavors like that. They'll match player donations, all sorts of good things. And then, so I mean, the Playmakers Classic specifically, what it is, they set up a bunch of table games. Last year was in Vegas when I got to be a part of it, and they set up a bunch of casino games. There's a live auction, a silent auction. A bunch of baseball memorabilia and just sports memorabilia in general. Fun time.
We were there last year. It was awesome. We're hoping to be out there again this year for it. Now, I got to ask you, there's two questions I have. One, you're trying for that Roberto Clemente Award. It's one of the highest honors in baseball. So, it means a lot to players to get it. And I love it that how much these players give back. And so to hear you talk about this and see on your face how much it means to you is awesome. But second of all, if they did have this in Vegas again and we went there, what game are you playing? Are we playing roulette? Are we playing blackjack? You seem more like a chill guy that could sit there all night and play poker? Or are you like me, craps guy, let's get this over with quick?
Yeah, I'm more the house poker guy game, but if we're going to Vegas, probably sit with one of my buddies and play some blackjack.
Okay. All right.
And lastly, can you just give us an idea, obviously, of who, if you remember, was there last year? Because, I mean, there are a ton of current players that are a part of this. This time we're in Arizona. So last year it was in Vegas in November. This time we're in Arizona right around spring training time. So you're going to rule out some of the players that are going to be in Florida, of course, that are in the Grapefruit League, but we'll have plenty of action out in Arizona.
Yeah, it should be a good mix. Like you were saying, like, the players, they're all their charity endeavors and stuff like that. So, the support for the Players Trust, the player side is pretty overwhelming. So I'd expect to see, a ton of players there. You guys might have to remind me, didn't they sell tickets to fans last year? I think that they were.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Yeah, I think I remember talking to, a high school baseball coach and his wife for a while, out there, and I think they were in Summerlin. So yeah, just players, fans, all sorts of people out there. So yeah, really a fun time. And if people are going to be visiting Arizona for spring training, they should definitely make their way out there.
Yeah, code's right below you. Right below. Just sorry, Kratz.
Yeah,
right below for tickets.
Yeah. Fans can hit the QR code. It's easy. You get to rub elbows with Rookie of the Year Corbin Carroll. Those are pretty twitchy elbows. Quick question for you. Juan Soto's a free agent. Would you move out of right field if the Diamondbacks said we're going to sign Juan Soto? Would you find another position?
I would love to. I would love to. I mean, yeah, I'd seen that guy in division last year. obviously not his best year, but just everything he does is very special. So that guy's going to get paid a lot of money.
Hell yeah, he is. We'll be following it. Corbin, awesome to have you on. Thanks for the time. Thanks for what you're doing for the Playmakers Classic. We'll give another plug on the way out, and we'll catch you later this offseason. Of course, see you at the event.
And by the way, Scott's jealous of the height of your hair, by the way.
It is good height.
That is, however you do that, Scott, you need to call Scott and give him some tips. This is a little lower, but that big wave Dave you have is awesome.
That's awesome.
That's
all right,
not
guys.
hat hair. That's the good stuff. Thanks, Corbin. Appreciate you, man.
Take care.
You too. Corbin Carroll with us. You can see him at the 3rd Annual Playmakers Classic, February 18th. Right now, you can use the code PlaymakersFT, 15% off to be there. Live performances, table games, like you mentioned, awesome food, drinks, the whole deal, and you'll see players and Hall of Famers. You're just out there at the event with them. It's casual in the right way, where you can have conversations with some of your favorite players in the sport, all for an awesome, awesome cause. Be right back.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.